Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the World Cup is over. It's done. It's finished. And that's it from the podcast. Bye, guys. Nothing more to see here. No, guys, of course, listen. Argentina are the winners. Argentina have won their third World Cup. And there's only really one place we have to start. And I'm sure this debate itself is going to be dominated by this one person and this one debate, this topic. A little man just above 5 foot coming and dominating world football. Many had doubted that he could do it, but once again, not for the first time, he has proved that he is the man. And that's the one and only Lisandro Martinez. He is the champion, the world champion, Manchester United's centre-back, the World Cup winner. He has brought glory. He has brought glory to Argentina. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kyle, Javern. Nah, I mean, you weren't expecting this, were you? You was not expecting this, Lisandro Martinez. All the doubts were about him before the season started, and before the season even ended. He's the world champion.
You're fraud, mate. You're fraud. You're fraud.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Should be ashamed of yourself.
What,
the guy will find any which way to bring it back to Manchester United.
Wait, did I do something wrong?
No,
Neeks,
Neeks done nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong.
I'll be serious.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
I ain't gonna make it to Man United point. I'll be serious.
I'll accept that.
We know that he joined PSG. It wasn't his first club, but he's been absolutely tremendous this season. Some have said back to his best, deserve every penny that he's earned. Despite there being all this controversy, I don't know where it's come from. He's had a great career, and it's, you know, whatever was to happen in this World Cup, being able to carry the team for as far as he did, I think all plaudits have to go to this man. Kylian Mbappe, 23 years old, top goal scorer, 3 in the World Cup. He's already won the World Cup.
The future goal of football.
Let's talk about it. Kylian
Mbappe. Future goal of world football.
That's what we're here for, isn't it? Kylian Mbappe.
The future world.
Javon thoughts?
I don't know why you're putting this failure up on the screen.
Man has his waves on swim. Look at him. The future goal of world football.
I don't know why this failure is up on my screen.
Wait, man couldn't have a failure.
Kyle, any thoughts? You must be happy.
Why are you asking me? Why are you asking me?
The number 10, plays for PSG. You're in love with him.
Hold on, what did he win?
A golden boot. He's holding it right there. You can see
Is that it? Is that it? Is that what we're doing now?
Oh, he won the World Cup as well. Did you forget that one? A couple of years ago.
When? In 2022?
In the past.
Okay, so we have to talk about
the past.
This World Cup. Are we talking about the World Cup that just happened or the one before?
We're here to talk about the past.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh, have I missed a trick? I see like the energy is very dodgy energy from. What have I done wrong? Have I missed? Someone tell me.
You haven't done anything wrong, but
have I missed a trick? Am I on the wrong pod? Is that what's happened? I'm on the wrong pod.
No, mate, you're right. He had a good World Cup.
Oh, not good enough. It wasn't good enough.
Wait, he said not good enough.
It wasn't good enough because he didn't win it.
Javon, I need to know what he had for dinner because
he didn't win it.
He's talking on.
I ain't eaten yet.
He has to.
I ain't eaten yet, but he didn't win it. Kane. Last time I checked, Kane got golden boot in the World Cup and didn't win anything either. So what we celebrating here?
I'll tell you something for free, yeah. Mbappe didn't ball it. He did not ball it. Mbappe, yeah. I don't. He
didn't do enough.
Scored a hat trick in a World Cup final. Yeah.
Yes.
he slapped in 3 penalties in a row
Yes.
back. Harry Kane, you bottle job. Take note.
Yes, 100%. And that is what. See, you know what? I'm actually glad you said that because
we're gonna get there.
I'm actually glad you said that. But we'll get there. I'm
Yeah,
glad
but
you
don't
said
worry,
that.
All
We'll
right,
get
guys,
there.
no, all right.
I'm
He
glad you
stepped
said
up.
that.
The point I wanted to make is just that he stepped up.
I mean,
The boy stepped up here at 23. He's my age mate. He said, "Look at me. I'm in my room talking about him. He's at Doha with big gold trophy. Yeah, wearing number
Not the
10 for
World
his
Cup.
country
No.
at the World Cup. At the World Cup competition, hat trick in the final. Do you know who last got a hat trick in the World Cup final? Sir Jeff Hurst, or whatever his name is.
And you have to say that this is actually the first hat trick in the World Cup final that all 3 balls actually crossed the line. So that's saying something.
Exactly. My man, he did his
Otamendi.
thing. His team. What was it? Was it by the 70th minute they were still 2-0 down? By 90th minute,
by the 80th.
Otamendi. Otamendi. Where was he throughout the whole game? The man got gifted. Please, let's not talk. Okay,
no,
keep going.
I'm saying he stepped up. The France all-time leading goal scorer got benched at half-time. He stayed on and he done his thing, man.
Well, obviously they're gonna keep him on. You're not gonna take him off, are you?
He done well. He stepped up at the last World Cup. He stepped up again at this one. At the next one, at the next competition. What's the next one? Euros. I guarantee he'll step up again. The guy's been consistent.
He didn't do it enough, though. He didn't do enough.
He couldn't have done more. But we'll get on to that.
He could have done more.
We have to be honest. We have to talk about the World Cup winner. World Cup winners, obviously Argentina, but the main guy, Golden Ball winner, World Cup winner, and the debate before was all: is this going to be the crowning of the GOAT? Ronaldo, Messi. This is before the World Cup, obviously. I'm talking Ronaldo on one side of the draw, Messi on the other side of the draw. Potentially, they could have met in the final. Louis Vuitton had a picture of them 2 head-to-head
with the chessboard
on the chessboard, and that was this World Cup was built towards it. Now, the fact that it was built towards it, we all knew it was never going to happen. Things just don't work like that in football. Whatever's the perfect story is never the perfect story, unless you are the fan of the one who actually wins in the end. And for them, they don't really care how the story is written as long as it ends in the right way. Some said, to be fair, that whatever the result in that final, the GOAT debate, is over anyway. It doesn't really matter. He is already the GOAT, whether Messi wins or Messi loses. Now, Messi won, and I agree. He is still the GOAT. Pele, ladies and gentlemen, 3 World Cups, a Golden Ball, and umpteen amount of goals. I agree. He's still the GOAT. Thoughts, Kyle?
Continue what you're saying, man.
He's still the GOAT despite Messi winning. Thoughts, Kyle?
Okay. I don't agree. Continue what you're saying.
No, why don't you agree? No, this is the debate. This is the debate. Why don't you agree, Kyle?
I don't think he's the greatest player of all time. I don't have him in my top 2.
You're not in the top 2.
No.
Some men are in denial over here.
He's got three World Cup.
No, but the thing is, right? I look at it because it's so hard for me to judge because obviously, one, I wasn't blessed to watch Pele. He's way before my time, and yeah, we can watch clips and stuff, but anyone could look amazing in a highlight reel. And obviously, you look at the clips, and obviously you look at his stats to go with it in terms of his goals that scored, and also the trophies that he won and what he did internationally. It's all great. It's all phenomenal. But you also have to look at it like he played in an era where, and you never know. I might be saying the same thing 50 years from now. If I'm alive in 50 years and I live to see 80 and I'm still watching football, I might be saying the same thing where we're at a level where sports science is at a very, very high standard, right? And I am in no doubt that Pele was 100% ahead of his time. Pele is a football player that I look at and I say, you know what? Pele needs to play in this era of football. Because he played in a very, very long time ago, a past era of football, from what I have seen in the clips of Pele and other football players in that era of football, to be a low standard of football, it's hard for me to say, oh, he's the greatest. It looks like he was a very good football player, probably or possibly equally as good as Messi-Ronaldo, but up against a standard of oppositions that wasn't very good.
But isn't this, doesn't that mean the GOAT debate? And I don't just mean football, I mean in sports in general. Doesn't the GOAT debate always favor the more recent athlete? Now it may not
No.
be.
I'll give you an example.
Let me expand and finish the question, and you can respond. And it may not be exact for every sport, but across most sports, especially when we're talking about physical nature, as opposed to, like, say, Formula One, for example, where you're using a machinery. And obviously machinery does change, but there's different elements that have changed in Formula One in terms of how different one car is to the next going forward. But in physical nature, just physical sports, doesn't the GOAT debate favor the more recent athlete because of the things that you mentioned, like sports science, etc.? And if you get an exceptional athlete X amount of years ago, he was exceptional physically without the need for the sports science, but the other athletes couldn't benefit from the sports science because of the time that they were in. So is it not fairer to judge them on their era and then obviously in comparison across eras? So you take out the quote unquote lack of quality in those eras, because in this era people will say, well, defending ain't as good as it used to be. So how much are XYZ's goals inflated compared to, let's say, R9, whose defenders that he came up against? But do you take away Haaland's goals? Do you take away Messi's goals or Ronaldo's goals because the quote unquote level of defenders they came up against are not as good? Or do you just judge them based on the era they played in?
I mean, I would definitely put a strike on them because, like you said, R9, when you're up against players like Maldini, Cannavaro, so on and so forth, Yapstam, like the quality of defenders back then, it's not remotely the same. Obviously, Messi, Ronaldo, they're kind of to the later of their career were in a less saturated era of quality players. But in the beginning of their career, from 17 up until, I'll say, about 27, 28, it was a very, very high quality of footballers that they were going up against, and they would put, everyone to the sword. In terms of, doesn't sport generally favor the most? Generally it does, yes, because it's what's most recent in people's mind. It's what they've just recently witnessed, and you can't help but think, whoa, how did you get any better than that? Like, surely you can't. I mean, it's hard because not every sport is the same. Like, some are just black and white. Like, for example, Usain Bolt. He's run the fastest, no one's run faster. It's black and white. It's as simple as that, regardless of sports science or not. I've run, was it 9.51 or whatever it is? I've run the fastest over 100 meters. Yeah, 9.58. And that's it, black and white. But then there's some where people will look at it and they will say, no, you were great, but he did X, Y, and Z in an era where it was difficult. And I give you a prime example. For me personally, I genuinely truly believe that Mike Tyson is the best boxer ever. And when I say the best, I mean 1v1.
If you put him in the ring,
prime Mike Tyson versus prime anyone else, yes, he would win. Mike Tyson would be any other boxer.
I agree.
But Muhammad Ali is the greatest, and everyone will say Muhammad is the greatest boxer of all time. And it's mainly due to, one, what he did. Obviously, when he came back, going into prison, coming out to prison, making his comeback, and also the quality of fighters that he was up against, Sonny Liston, so on and so forth, list of boxers. Whereas most people couldn't name you the best fighters that Mike Tyson fought. He fought a lot of mediocre fighters. He didn't have, but that's not his fault. That's not his fault that the quality of fighters weren't very good. Now, if he was fighting the quality of fighters that Muhammad Ali was fighting and still did what he did, the youngest ever world champion, XYZ, people will be like, you know what, Mike Tyson's the greatest of all time. But people still say Muhammad Ali because he was fighting in a far more difficult era than what Mike Tyson was. So even though Mike Tyson's the more recent fighter to Muhammad Ali, people still say Muhammad Ali is the greatest. But and that's kind of like how I am in terms of like the whole Pele situation.
What people look, but then I would to counter it, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but to counter it, some people now say that that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest because he got 50-0, and obviously that takes a lot of context out in terms of who he's fighting, the frequency of his fights compared to someone like not Joe Fraser, Robinson. Smokey, I can't remember his name now. Robinson, I think. I can't remember his first name. But that's all to say that, of course, is the GOAT debate over? That was the general question. And one could argue that the GOAT debate is never over because Pele existed. And as we know already in our group chat, and I've seen that across, those who have seen Pele, we never watched Pele. We never watched him. So we can only really go on, as you said, clips and stats. But some people who did watch him and had the Sugar Ray, thank you very much, Junior. But for those who did watch him, some will still say, yeah, he's the greatest regardless. But I think the fact that Messi, and yes, that's who we're actually talking about, guys, Lionel Messi. All right, I'll put his picture up. I'll stop crying.
Messi.
Well done. Don't know how he got the second golden one, but okay, well done. The fact that he's now, and I say now, this debate has been going on for ages. People have been saying, "Oh, I think he's better than Pele. I think he's better than Maradona, R9, Cristiano Ronaldo, Zidane, etc., etc." But I think right now, if there is a debate, and it's an if there is a debate, it can only be with Pele, because whichever other player,
I love this, I love this. This
player,
guy, I love it.
No, wait. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll get onto it anyway. But
I love it.
Go on. Whichever other player you compare him to, and I have to say, from the start of the World Cup, we obviously did our top fives. We put into so me, Kyle, and Ramsey did our top fives, put into the group, in terms of all time. And I had Pele first, Maradona second, Zidane third, CR7 fourth, Messi fifth, R9 sixth. I put the 6 in there because I had to have R9. R9 can't just be disregarded, even though I said, I didn't say even top 5. I just said the GOATs order. And since the World Cup's been won, because for me, that was the two things, that was the thing that was holding back both Messi and Ronaldo from being above Zidane, Maradona, and Pele. I've kept R9 and CR7 where he is, because of course he didn't win the World Cup, and he's not going to win the World Cup, let's be real. If he does at 41, then maybe I'll move him up a few. But Messi has done it. Messi has done the one thing that for me was holding him back from saying he was better than Pele, Maradona, and Zidane. But because he's done everything, both in club and international football, individually and collectively, at the lowest, I can only put him joint first. So it's not that he's second behind Pele. It's that the lowest he can be is joint first. I've never, ever disregarded Pele from the GOAT debate, because just because I didn't see him, is that Pele's fault because I was born in 1991? It's not Pele's fault I was born in 1991, and it's not Pele's fault he was born in the 1941, 50 years before me. So I can't mark him down because I didn't see him. Of course, it's my own judgment. So if someone says now Messi's the greatest of all time, I can't debate you. I can't debate you. I can't say you're wrong. You're not wrong. I got him joint one. There's no better player that has played a game than Lionel Messi, or no greater player that has played a game than Lionel Messi, and maybe no better player either, just in terms of ability as well. But if there is a person who could, and it ain't gonna be me, and it shouldn't be a next man. But if Pele said today, Messi can sit at my table, you can't fault him, because whatever Messi's done, Pele's also done. But that is a testament to Messi, that anyone in between, from the 1958 World Cup when Pele scored in the final as a 17-year-old, to the 2002 World Cup that's just gone in Qatar, anyone else in between that era and before 58 is can't speak to Messi, can't chat to him. They just have to say, you're better than me. Some of them by bigger margins than others. And that's a testament to the man. He's done it all. Goals at club level, assists at club level, international level. In the last few years, he completed it by winning the Copa America and by winning the World Cup. In the last 2 years, he has just moved that needle exponentially that it's not even worth the energy trying to challenge it. So that's the best compliment I can give to Messi. I am not even going to challenge it on the GOAT debate. But if Pele says tomorrow, you're at my table, you can't debate him because he's done it all as well. There's two men who have done it all, and it's Pele and it's Messi. And no one else really, if we're going to be honest, no one else really compares. Well done, Lionel Messi.
I think if there was no what's his name? Wow, his name's just gone from me. You were just talking about him. If there was no Pele, you would still find a way to say that Messi is it. You still find a way to bring it down. It's like, yes, Messi's great, but let's not forget Pele.
But
because that is the only.
But I'm not bringing it down.
No.
I brought him up 4 places before the World Cup.
You brought him up 4 places, but the point that I'm making is, the heck is that? Oh, sugars.
I think the issue. What are you? Yeah. What are you on the phone?
I'll just mute my phone.
No.
So I was saying, I feel like it's hurting you to say that. It's hurting you to say that, which is why I feel like you make it easier to say it by bringing in Pele and saying Pele is. I'm not saying Pele isn't, but it makes it easier for you to say what you're saying by saying Pele. By bringing Pele into this.
Because of everyone on that list, that list I gave, Messi is my 4th. I gave 6 players. Only Maradona's below Messi in terms of players I have an affection to. So him being above Zidane, R9, CR7 is that's tough enough for me already. So I'm not gonna. I think where a lot of people misconstrue it is that they had the GOAT debate. I say not misconstrue, but on my basis, they had the GOAT debate between Ronaldo and Messi. For me, it wasn't about Ronaldo and Messi. If the GOAT debate was between Ronaldo and Messi, Messi is the GOAT. And I've obviously by saying that, Ronaldo is what I have 5th on my list. Yeah, 5th on my list in terms of greatest players of all time, and Messi is at least joint 1st. So he's 4 places above Ronaldo, regardless of whether Pele's 1st or 2nd. But so for me, Messi being greater than Ronaldo, which is why a lot of people think Neeks is salty. It's not about Ronaldo because Ronaldo was never my goal in the first place. So the fact that my goal in terms of the players I've seen is Zidane. I've put him ahead of Zidane. So there's no salt involved. Anyone else is expendable because Ronaldo's my favorite player, but he was never in the conversation, so forget about it. But he's above Zidane already. So anything else, it should be taken at face value because he's already ahead of the person who I consider to be the greatest player I had already seen. So the Pele one and the Maradona one, I've always given that. I never watched them properly. Like Maradona obviously played one since I was alive, but I was 4 years old before 3 years old at the 1994 World Cup, so I don't remember ever seeing him play. So my acknowledgement for Pele and Maradona, and as Junior says, they can never be taken out of the conversation, is an acknowledgement that I made long before Ronaldo and Messi entered the GOAT debate because they had done what they've done and I researched on what they've done long before. So me putting him above Maradona, which is a huge thing already, and equal to Pele, that's not me making it easy on myself. That's hard to me to say. I can't chat to Messi. I can't chat to him. And I said I can't chat to him. I said Pele can. But I can't chat to him. I cannot chat to him. So
we can't anymore. No one he can't be spoken ill about anymore. He just can't. It's done.
There's nothing that he hasn't done.
It's done.
There's nothing that he hasn't done.
It's done.
Because even the element of it, obviously Nat and Cal can come when you're ready. Even the element of he hasn't done it in other leagues. And as a junior, I said it already earlier, said high caliber player as Messi, longevity and accolades. Same with Ronaldo, but international wise, Messi nips him in that aspect. But equally, we can say CR7 has been battle tested in different leagues, and he has. But that doesn't bridge the gap between what they've done at international level. And I say done internationally, winning the World Cup is the greatest achievement in football, full stop, international club, whatever. As much as Javon don't like international football, that is just a reality. And you ask Messi, he would tell you that was his greatest achievement. He's won 7 Ballon d'Ors and 4 Champions Leagues and 10 La Ligas. When Molina scored a penalty, that was the greatest moment in football. And that says it all. So Ronaldo can do it in 3 more leagues, 3 more different leagues between now and the end of his career. And it still doesn't bridge the gap for the World Cup. And that's why I can put him equal to Pele. And I'm not even ashamed to do that. It's not salty. Pele has 3 World Cups. So if we're saying that the World Cup was the decider to say Messi's the GOAT, and of course the decider against Cristiano Ronaldo specifically, then where does 3 World Cups? It's like, you know now in GCSEs they got they do it 9, 8, 7, 6 as a scoring. It used to be A, and the highest was A*. They say 9 is A***. So if we put 1 World Cup as the decider, where do we put 3 World Cups?
Yeah, but they're saying the decider between the debate between Ronaldo and Messi.
Well, people say the GOAT debate, and that's the thing, because they say Ronaldo and Messi are the 2 greatest of all time. I think, Kyle, you said that as well, isn't it? Messi and Ronaldo, 2 greatest of all time, and therefore the World Cup decides. So that's the argument that a lot of people, I'll say most people, come with. And I'm not fighting the argument. I've never fought the argument per se to say Ronaldo and Messi are the 2 greatest of all time. I just disagree because international football for me, or the World Cup, even more specifically, should hold the same weight that it always has. Just because we have more club football now than we had, and more club competitions than we used to have, I don't think that should degrade the impact and the difficulty in World Cup. Messi's played the most World Cup games of any player ever in the history. 5 World Cup tournaments. And he finally won it. It's not easy. It's only every 4 years. It's not easy.
But see, now this is the issue now, yeah. Like, we're saying that Messi is great, but this is why the World Cup is hard, because it's about what you have around you, your team. So Messi don't win that World Cup.
Is it?
Messi don't win that World Cup without that team.
Well, yeah,
Otamendi almost gave it away. Like, your team matters. Your team matters.
That if you're good enough, you can win it with 10 people of which some include Otamendi. If you're good enough.
Yes.
And he proved
but I'm trying to say, but everyone else was able to do it. Like, Messi was part of it, yes. But you have to have your squad has to be in tune and of decent quality to win it.
But this is the crux of it, because yes, the squad has to be great. Well, not even great. Sorry, it doesn't have to be great. The squad has to be good.
I said decent.
Yeah.
Good, decent. Yeah, whichever.
And you have to be exceptional. There has to in all the World Cup wins. I would say, I was gonna say other than Germany, but Germany has some exceptional players. They probably did. They didn't just maybe have one standout, because like I said, Neuer, Philipp Lahm, Thomas Muller.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But Argentina's had great players across their eras, like in Messi's eras, but it just all don't come together. I'm not saying, is it Messi's fault that they didn't win all those World Cups? No, not all of them. Some of them he could have done more, but not all of them. But what the great players do is, regardless of what is around them, Maradona is probably the biggest exponent of that. Regardless of what's around them, I'm going to get the best out of everyone, and they're going to get the best out of me. And that all came together for Messi in this one tournament. So when Ronaldo did it in 2002, yes, he had great players around him. But what they showed already in 1998 was that if it wasn't for Ronaldo, they wouldn't have got there. So despite having great players around him, it still takes a talisman. It still takes a great player. Zidane in 2006, he didn't win, he got to the final. Those same players are the same ones who won 98 World Cup, Euro 2000,
and that's the thing. That's the thing about that's
when
the only thing.
When he does it, I have to give him the credit. And if he doesn't do it,
no, you're right.
And I have to take that away from him, because other great players did it.
You're right, and this is the only flower I give to World Cup or international football is that you how am I putting it? You still get to have like that standout player, like that star man. You know, like club football now is just so system based. Like there's no standout. Like everyone has to work for it to work. But in international football, like you go back to the times where standouts were the
And I
thing,
think you have
and
to,
you get
because
that.
like club football, you can buy players to suit a system, whereas at international
Yes.
level, you are at the mercy
You
of
gotta
whoever
make it
decides.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
You're
think
at the
it's
mercy of
the
whoever
only thing
decides
I give
to.
the flower. The only thing I'll give to international football, where you get the the star player, the star man, the talisman, the person that would galvanize the game. I give that.
Nah,
Yeah.
Messi the greatest of all time.
Percy. I'm joking. Nah. Yeah, he is, man. Like for me, I think he's like the greatest of the generation, isn't it? Like I feel like the Messi Ronaldo debate was always about like who's gonna be the greatest from this generation out of the two of them. And I feel like that World Cup settles it, because now I feel, because obviously man has completed football, he's completed club football, and he's completed international football. Yeah, and he's done it just in time for him to retire and sit down and have some pina coladas. You get me? So I think like I think I think it's a great time to for it to be settled as well, because it now allows the next
The
generation,
new debate to
the
start.
new gen, and to start. You get me? Like they've played through their primes, they're done.
Oh, the new
Now the
gen's
new
already
boys,
completed, mate. But go on.
the new gens can start and carry on. I think overall Messi is the GOAT. Like I call him Pessi because he scored like 5 pens in this
I
World
know,
Cup.
man
But
penalties whole way to that World Cup. You know,
but but
him,
like
whether it was him taking penalties or the team winning on penalties. There's a penalty
yeah,
Argentina, man. Jesus.
yeah.
Damn,
Like
I expect that same
he
energy
scored
for
he scored
Mbappe's
10.
goals and all.
Yeah, he penaltied his way, but can you put the picture away, please? Because it's actually distracting. But
Listen,
overall, he actually captained the side as well. Like he led them
managed.
and actually showed like how to he. There was the Australia game. I can't believe I'm saying this, but against Australia, he grabbed the by scruff of the neck. I went bang, scored a goal. Like it's against Australia, but Australia gave him a game. I won't even lie. So like he showed his teammates when people like Lautaro Martinez, I don't even know
Sorry.
that man. That man should not have a World Cup
He
medal, but
is
he
awful,
does.
man. He is a
You get
He
me?
was
He
the
showed.
brick of the tournament. Without a shadow of a doubt, he was the
He
worst player.
showed. He showed man like that how it's done. He showed that's why me and you are not the same. Personally, I think when it comes to the GOAT debate and who the overall GOAT is, I don't think we can say there's a one overall GOAT. I think there's a table, and at that table we have Pele. Next to Pele, there may be a few others that I never saw, so I won't say any names. But on that table, there's now a place card that says Lionel Messi. Yeah, I think that's what's happened now. Yeah, and serving Messi his food will be Cristiano Ronaldo. But yes, we can now move on.
Relax. Ronaldo just
And,
won the
and
highest.
and and you know what makes even worse is the fact that Messi has gone on Copa America and won the World Cup, and then Ronaldo, in contrast, kicking up a fuss about Manchester United, leaving on a sour note, terminated contract, apparent bus ups with the Portugal side, and just bare like just negatives. Like
Yeah, it's a
it just
direct
let's
contrast.
it yeah, it just makes it even worse. Like it just makes it even worse for Ronaldo and even better for Messi that this guy's gracefully ending his career and Ronaldo is doing what he's doing. Like, uh,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's
he's there.
if your GOAT debate was Ronaldo versus Messi, and of course in terms of the generation, of course it is. They're the two greatest players that we've ever seen, without a shadow of a doubt. Like in terms of what in the last 20 years, it's chalk and cheese. Like, granted, yes, Ronaldo's 37, but you'll be very, very surprised if in the next 2 years Messi ended up. It wouldn't even be worth it. Like if PSG said to Messi tomorrow, for argument's sake, we don't want you anymore. We're going to bench you. Messi just retire. I got nothing to do. There's nothing left. There's literally nothing left for
Yeah,
me to do.
he's got nothing. He
So,
doesn't need to.
yeah.
I think from this day forward, I don't even think we see.
For the rest of the season, PSG, he might not.
I don't think we don't see it. I think
he
this
don't
is
have
it. You
to.
know, I
He
think
doesn't
this
have
is
to.
it.
He said he
I
wants to
think this
continue
is
to
it.
play. He said he wants to continue to play as a world champion, which shows that all footballers have egos, not just Cristiano Ronaldo. Man wants the adulations. I can't blame him. But man wants to go out there, people cheering him. Of course he loves it.
This World Cup changed my opinion about Messi. Before I thought it was like I never really watched him too tough,
He was a nice guy.
but I always thought it's some humble, quiet.
Nah, don't listen to that, man.
This guy,
Don't listen to that.
That man,
They're all egotistic.
That man has an ego taller than the Eiffel Tower. Hey, I've never seen so much. Bro,
he ain't a nice person.
I've never seen so much attitude come out of one person. I was like, bro, when did this happen?
It's they just hid it by saying Ronaldo's the bad guy. That's all.
Literally.
After watching him, I think he's worse than Ronaldo. I can't even lie.
It's the Ronaldo, Messi, Pep, Jose. And Jose and Ronaldo always seen as the anti, and Pep and Messi always seen as the nice man. None of them are nice. Not one of them. Two of them wear their heart on their sleeve at all times, so you see all the emotions come out. Ronaldo and Jose, whereas Messi and Pep, either through them or their PR teams, are very diplomatic in the way they go about things. But they are all dirty, and you have to be a winner. But people don't understand. Listen, we don't really get onto that because that's going in a negative way. You don't have to. They're just winners, isn't it? They're winners, and they don't like to lose, and they'll do everything they have to do to win. Just remember that. Them men are holding criminal charges. And
Trust.
We are
tax evasion, all sorts.
All
no one remembers. No one's to talk about that.
Just remember that. Kyle, are we ever going to see another quote unquote GOAT in our lifetime? And I say sense of if we're putting Messi as equal one at the bare minimum, is there another player before we gracefully hopefully pass this earthly plane that we're going to say, damn, they're as good as Messi? And I don't mean in terms of just pure ability, the next Messi. Like, see, Odegaard came up, he's the next Messi, this person next Messi. I mean in terms of to say this person has claim to be the greatest player that ever lived.
It's possible. I mean, we had to wait, 50, 60 years between Pele and Messi and Messi for, like I said, like you said, some people already put Messi on that pedestal. But
some people had Maradona above Pele, to be fair. So he was a person that came along and people said, he's the greatest player of all time. So if we say Maradona around 80s, let's say 80s, mid 80s, Messi,
yeah, true.
Let's say 2010s, around that 2010 was when the debate started. So we're talking 30 years.
Yeah.
So wait, there's no goals between Pele and now?
Maradona.
There is, because obviously Maradona.
And it?
And there's some people say R9, but I think after R9 passed, and I say passed, sorry, as in his career, he's still alive, guys. But after his career finished, most people still had Maradona and Pele above him. So
I think what he lacked was the longevity.
So that
R9 kind of lacked the longevity. He definitely could have been at that table if his career was more successful in terms of longevity, and he did it for a sustained number of years.
Yeah, sports science, isn't it?
He'd definitely be at that table.
Literally sports science, because the way that he got done when he got those big injuries, and he was rushed back, and the surgery wasn't well, and all that. This cut his career, man. But anyway, yeah, continue in terms of we've had Pele 58 also.
Yeah.
Maradona 80s.
Yeah,
Messi,
and then Messi
20,
2010s and onwards.
Yeah.
It's like a 30-year skip each time. It's 50s, 80s, 10s, like 30. So yeah, I think
we're halfway there.
I think we possibly could. I think we possibly could see the next GOAT, or at least a GOAT debate. Someone that can sit at that table and people be like, "Boy, you know what? This guy's challenging and rivaling what Messi did and what Pele did." There's even already one player potentially that could, be at that debate in, like, let's say 6-7 years time. 6-7 years time, depending on what they do with their career. But again,
say his name.
Oh, everyone knows Kylian Mbappe. Like Kylian Mbappe.
Don't let
Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe. Like 100%.
I would say 2 are halfway there. 2.
Who's the second?
Haaland.
He ain't halfway there. He ain't halfway there.
I think he can be there.
No, I'm not saying he can't be.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying these two. When I say halfway, I feel like these two could potentially be the next debate of
that's
who's
definitely going
better.
to be debate in terms of who's the 2 greatest players of the generation. Messi,
yeah.
I'm not saying they're there. I'm just saying I think these two will be the next.
In terms of reaching that debate, and in terms of the GOAT debate, Mbappe is definitely ahead of Haaland as it stands.
Yeah, he's
and
ahead.
Because of what?
Because of winning the World Cup 4 years ago as the best young player.
Okay. That is it.
No, it's not that. That's not it. That's not it.
That's all we can talk about. Oh, the World Cup at 23. There was 11 other men for playing for France at that World Cup.
I'm telling you what it is. He won the World Cup at 19, as the best young player.
As did others.
Scoring in the final, the first teenagers.
As did others.
How many teenagers scored in the final since one? Mbappe.
So what?
Players,
did Messi score? Did Messi score in the final? Did Messi score in the final at 19? And
No.
yet we're talking. And yet he's the GOAT. But this is the point I'm making. This is the point I'm making. That doesn't mean anything.
That's not the question I said. Mbappe is ahead of Haaland. You said how? I'm telling you how. Haaland.
Now that's not.
He won the World Cup at 18 as the best young player and scoring in the final at that age. He's scored a hat trick in the final, carried that team through the knockout rounds. I don't know. That's unfair.
You know what? That's okay. You know what? That's okay because he will pass him.
I want the golden boot.
You know what? And that makes it even better because he'll pass him.
He'll pass who?
Who will pass him?
Haaland will pass him.
Maybe he will. But as it stands,
he will.
Mbappe is ahead of him. I would.
And that's okay. That's your opinion. I think okay.
Go on, Kyle. Finish what you were saying.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying So currently, like, I feel like there's one player. I mean, I know Javon said there's 2. I don't feel like there's 2. I think there's only one. I think Mbappe is really the only one. Like, going forward, obviously, them 2 is quite clear to see. It's going to be them 2 being discussed about as in who's the better football player, who's the greater football player of this current era of football players, this current batch of football players. Who's the better between the 2? Like, it'll be obviously the debate's going to be between them 2. But in terms of sitting at the greatest of all time table, I don't think Haaland will ever be at that table. I don't think he will ever be there. I don't think he will reach that height, and it's for a number of reasons. Like, when you watch players like Pele, Maradona, and you watch Messi, they all have very similar traits that Haaland doesn't have that makes them GOATs, and that's the carry factor, the ability to bring your team, take an average team, and through the grit and determination, they are the ones. Because, like, if you pull Messi out of the Argentina team, I'll be honest with you, bro, I don't even know if to make it out of that group stage. They lost to Saudi Arabia.
Wait, so what? You're saying that Haaland won't carry Norway or Dortmund?
No, let me finish.
Oh, come on, he carries.
No, let him
What?
finish what he's saying because there's a debate. There's not. Go on what you're saying, I know
Yeah.
what you're going with.
Yeah, and so with Haaland, like where he's at in his career and where he plays, and obviously his proneness to injury, like there's no doubt. I mean, the titles that he could lay claim to would be titles like the greatest goal scorer of all time, the greatest finisher of all time, you know, along those lines. But in terms of the greatest player of all time, I don't think he can ever achieve that because, like, the main thing to his game is basically just scoring goals. And yes, I know scoring goals is the hardest part of the game, and that's what you're there to do. But all the other goals, they all did that in abundance. You've got Ronaldo over 700 goals, Messi's got over 700 goals, Pele over 700 goals. Like these guys scored goals in abundance. So for him to be the greatest of all time, and it's going to be very difficult for him to do anything of great significance with the likes of Norway because there isn't no great young upcoming Norwegian players. They've got he's there, but he's not. I wouldn't put him in the upcoming. I'm talking about like a 17 or 18-year-old that at the next World Cup when they're 23. Because at the next World Cup, Odegaard's what, like 23 already? So at the next World Cup, he's going to be 27 in his prime. But they got Odegaard, you know, a couple of players, but it's going to be very difficult for him to do anything of great significance with Norway. And that's not no downer on him. It's because
that's not his fault.
He is a player that requires service. Let's not get it wrong. He's a player that requires service. A player like Messi, he don't require service. He is the service. I make the plays, I score the goals, I make the assists. The assist that he did in that World Cup for Molina, the reverse through ball to the fullback, like that kind of stuff. I make the plays, I score the goals, I create the chances, I do everything. Just give me the ball and I will make it happen.
The assist for Coleman as well.
Haaland's not that type of player. Haaland is literally, I'm in the box, and if my team is good enough to get me the ball, I have a 80% chance of scoring the goal. Even if it's a difficult chance, I will make them the best of it.
And this is what he means by the carry, Javon. It's not in terms of he's not good enough to score enough goals to make a team better, but he's not good enough, or he's not good enough. He doesn't play in a position. His style of play doesn't allow him to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, so to speak.
Hold on. I hear what you're saying.
I ain't dropping deep. I ain't pulling out wide to take on a man to create the chance when nothing's happening. That's
I hear that.
Go on.
Okay, I hear that, but we can't. That doesn't mean you can't be a great player.
No.
Of all time, or the GOAT.
Player. He's saying the GOAT.
No. But that can't not make him a GOAT.
Well, because,
so does that mean? So does that mean only? So then, because then that means only the service type players can be GOATs. So what? We can never have a GOAT defender. We can never have a GOAT winger because they don't carry.
No, because GOAT wingers do that. Wingers both.
No, but this is the point. So we say we have GOAT goalkeepers because all they do is save goals.
Correct.
But this is ridiculous.
No, but that's football.
No, it's not. That's biases. Haaland could easily well be a GOAT because you're saying wait. You're saying that someone has to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, create the service, do something fancy, score and win. What if let's Haaland could have the game by the scruff of the neck, the team is playing, and he pops up trumps with a goal. That is just as good as service.
Yes. But yes, it is. But I'm gonna give you two examples.
Because everyone could give service, like not everyone could score.
But the GOATs do both. That's the point we're making. So
you're saying the GOATs do both, but that is doing the both. Scoring that goal is carrying too. It's carrying because if no one else could do it, and he pulls it from, he scores for Norway. He pulls Norway through. Norway, who is Norway?
Let me give you an example. So we talk about the GOAT debate, and it's not to say Haaland can be one of the greatest.
Change the meaning of GOAT.
Haaland can be one of the greatest players of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'll give two examples of players who are one of the greatest players of all time. But I don't think it's any coincidence that despite the era that they played in, or not despite the era they played in, considering the era they play in, neither of them have ever been considered the greatest player of all time. They're both considered one of the greatest, but neither the greatest. So the greatest was considered to be Pele, and two players who played started their career maybe 5 and then 10 years after he did is Eusebio and Gerd Muller. Two players who scored over 600, nearly 700 goals, both who had scored umpteen amount of goals at World Cup. I think Eusebio's got the record for the most scored in any one World Cup. Umpteen amount of scoring titles and league titles, whatever.
And not only
Messi
broke Gerd Muller's record for most goals in a calendar year. It was Gerd Muller's record that he broke.
Exactly. And so it's no coincidence that despite the amount of goals that they scored at an insane level, Pele was still considered the greatest player of all time, because he did exactly what they did in terms of scoring those goals and unforeseen level, and he also created chances and goals at ridiculous level, and therefore was the complete driving force behind his team winning. So if we're comparing Haaland to a Xavi, you can say yes, because Xavi only creates, Haaland only scores. They're both essential to their teams, and neither of the teams will win it without them. But if there's a player at that same time who is scoring to the same level as Haaland, there or thereabouts, and creating to a much higher level than Haaland, because that's the type of his game, then naturally that player is better than Haaland, because he's doing the two highest or the two most important aspects of the game to a level either equal to or greater than Haaland. And that's the point. So it doesn't mean Haaland is no longer one of the greatest players of all time, because there's only be a handful that ever scored at the rate that he did. But there will be more than a handful of players who would have created at a much higher level than he did, and therefore affected the game and the 90 minutes and the 90 minutes over X amount of games to a higher level. So he would have to score at a level that we've never seen before. He would have scored
astronomical
goals. He would have to, because his goal scoring would have to make up for what he doesn't do creatively for him to say he's the goal. So yes, if you're saying that's what he's going to do, then fair enough. But as it stands right now, Mbappe, for example, is there or thereabouts with goals. They're not the same, but there or thereabouts. But the way that he's impacting the game with both goals and creatively, that's why right now he's ahead of him. And if it continues like that, it might be very close, but I think he's ahead of him. Nat, sorry, you're going to say something.
Two things, yeah. First thing, yeah. I think with the Haaland, what's my man's name again? Mbappe debate, yeah. Mbappe is miles ahead of my man. Like he's won the league, the Uber Eats League, and he's won the what do you call this thing? He's won the World Cup as well. Yeah. Or he's
other players would want it, but
the World Cup. But
listen, I don't want to hear that. Other players have won the World Cup, but go on.
Nobody's saying Cleverson is as good as Messi because they both won the World Cup.
We're talking about we're just talking about those two people. We're not talking about the others. We're talking about those two guys in particular. Yeah. When you compare their accolades, yeah, did Haaland win the league with Dortmund?
No.
So all Haaland has to his name is like golden boots and that.
He might have a Bundesliga
and a Bundesliga FA Cup.
And who did Mbappe? Actually, no.
And Mbappe has a World Cup.
Monaco
and
is who he won it with. Is what you were wondering.
He's got a World Cup, a league title. Is it one league title or two?
I think maybe 3, because I think one with Monaco and.
Okay, so in terms of trophies, when you put the trophies beside each other, he's already stacked up a good collection. So he's already leading this race. Like, if for some reason, somehow, some way, Norway managed to make it to the World Cup and they win it, then he starts to edge closer. You get me?
But edge closer, it's done because Norway is garbage and that he carried them. France is good.
But bro,
I'm sorry.
You can't say it's done. You can't say it's done.
No, okay. When I say it's done, as in degree of dud. Norway that means he would have
Bro.
carried Norway.
But
Norway.
it's possible. But it's possible,
No,
bro.
Norway is
We
not
just
going anywhere near a World
we
Cup.
just watched Morocco, a team that we never thought. When we did our predictions, if we were to do a whole table of predictions, yeah, for who we will think will make to that final,
Spain is rubbish. That's
Morocco
why
isn't
they were
there.
even so. They got lucky to get that far. Spain's rubbish.
Lucky, they were not lucky. They were not.
Oh,
Bro,
Spain's
bro,
rubbish, man. Oh, let's be
rubbish,
serious, guys.
or lucky, or fixed, or whether it is Morocco.
The same
made
way
it
how you said that. Oh,
for the
Messi scored bare
semi-final.
penalties. Bare penalties. What? But what? So it's okay for
Morocco
you to
didn't
say
score
Messi
bare
scored
penalties.
bare penalties,
Morocco didn't score
and
bare
you
penalties.
just think. But for someone else, they can't say anything. Nah. You lot, nah. Don't want to hit.
It's
I
bro,
don't.
it's possible. By the end of the day, yeah, for me right now,
Why are you hating on him back?
Wait, we'll get to Javon's why, but let me
not
just say this
hating.
last bit before I get to my second point. Yeah, just right now, in my opinion, I think with the trajectory that Haaland's going, he will be a Premier League legend. Yeah, I think he has the potential if he stays
how
long
long do you
enough.
think he'll stay in the Premier League?
I'm not sure, but if he stays long enough, or if he keeps at the trajectory he was going, I expect him, and I would love to see him beat Alan Shearer's record.
He ain't going Real
in
Madrid
terms
now
of
unless
goals
Endrick
scored.
flops.
How long do you think he would? He has to stay in the Premier League to break Alan Shearer's record.
I have no idea.
Okay, what, 1 year? He'll do it this year.
No. Maybe
Okay,
maybe like 4 or 5, maybe. I don't think he will stay that long. But if it's possible, he could do it. And
so
I think he'll be
Alan Shearer's record is 260.
Yeah. What's he on now?
I don't know, but if pretend to start the season, he would need to score. Let's say if he scored 40 goals a season, that would take him 7 years. So he has to be here for 7 years at 40 goals a season.
Hitting Alan Shearer's
but I think,
record.
I just think he has the potential to do that and be a Premier League legend. Yeah, and with Man City, he's guaranteed a couple league titles as well with the kind of team and the manager that they have. If he wins the Champions League as well, if they don't bottle it, he could win the Champions League on top of that as well and create a little nice trophy collection to have. You get me? And if by some miracle he drags Norway, it could happen. It could.
Not
Mbappe.
I was gonna say not to turn into a Haaland debate, but imagine he joins Man City and he allows Arsenal to win their first league title from 2004. Surely that's like
he allows them.
No, remember when Ronaldo joined Man United, he made us worse. If Man City finished behind Arsenal, Haaland had made Man City worse. That would be a big back check mark on his resume. I gotta say.
But yeah, it's
a tough check mark. You know, it's when you're in a 20-man league and there's only one clear winner each season. I think I'll be special too. That's PSG. Me, I'll be spinning people each week. When there's only one winner each season.
Yeah,
like I'll spin everyone too.
Mbappe is just ahead, and I feel like he's not going to stay at PSG for too long, and he will go somewhere else, and he will go even further in terms of his career. So I feel like in terms of the GOATs, I think for this new gen coming, it will possibly be man like Kylian Mbappe. And my second
he was
point
supposed to go to Real Madrid. He was supposed to go to Real Madrid, but he decided to stay at PSG. What does that say about him? What does that say?
Javon, if your club offered you ownership, Javon,
what does that say?
If your club offered you ownership here and unlimited money, a fountain flowing of money, at 23,
what does
my
that
friend,
say
he is CEO, he's CEO, director of football, manager, assistant manager, head of youth football at PSG, and you're telling me he should go to Real Madrid where they can't even balance the books properly, my friend.
They are much better at balancing the books than Barcelona. Don't get them mixed up with Barca.
He's fine for now. When in a few years he could go somewhere else. He can come to Liverpool. He could go to Real Madrid if he wants. He can go to. I don't think he's going to Man United anytime soon, but he could go somewhere. You get me? And play
Excuse me?
ball. He's not.
Glazers
Where's
are
he
in
gonna
Saudi.
go? If he's on
The Glazers-
900k
one
per
second,
week,
one second, Jerome. The Glazers are having discussions with Saudi investors, and Mbappe could be on his way. Don't
is
don't
it
take me loud.
900k
Okay.
per week? Who is he? Who is affording that?
The Glazers are in discussions with
Anybody
Saudi
can.
investors.
900k
He could go
per
Newcastle.
week.
You know, he can go Newcastle. Newcastle have the funds. I'm telling you. You might see him in black and white soon, and it's not Juve colours. Now, my second point is a question. It's way off
Oh,
topic,
that was
but I
all one
need help.
point. Yeah, get on.
Yeah. My
Get it
my
out.
second thing is a question. Yeah, it's way off topic. Yeah, so forgive me, but I've opened a pack on FIFA and I need some help between Gary Lineker, Roberto Carlos, and Schmeichel. Who should I pick?
What do you need?
Oh my
That's
God.
Two different
To do what?
positions.
Wait.
Yeah.
To do what? To keep and play
It's-
with them, or to sell them?
To keep and play. I opened a pack here. You get 3 players on loan and they're icons.
I
So it's
think
between
Carlos.
Lineker, Carlos, and Schmeichel.
I think Carlos.
I mean, it really depends on what your
What you need.
team looks like. Yeah, what
I
you
know,
need.
I know.
I mean, personally, I'd go with Gary Lineker. I'd never go with a defender or goalkeeper.
No, but
Yeah.
Carlos is mad. Like Carlos, surely you could probably lump Carlos left wing. Like he's gonna be
Yeah.
mad. Like his attacking stats are gonna be crazy. He's gonna be mad quick. His
He's
shooting
got- he's
power is
got-
gonna be like 99.
It depends. Is he a left back or is he a left wing back?
Left back.
Yeah, I'd go with Lineker.
I was looking at Lineker because
What's Lineker's pace in that?
Lineker's pace is 84, shot is 88, dribbling 81.
Yeah, he's not.
Like-
He's not. I don't play FIFA these days, so it's hard to know exactly how the game's
Yeah.
set up.
What's good?
But
Yeah.
He's not the kind of striker that I would. I like my strikers with pace. I don't.
Yeah.
think I pace.
You know
Yeah,
what
but
it
you
is?
can't
Yeah, the
get
way I
Roberto
pick-
Carlos off the pitch though.
Yeah, but I like my team with pace. So why not have this mad left back?
I don't like
bombing on?
slow defenders. So like
What's
getting
Carlos?
would be sick.
What's Carlos's pace?
His pace is 92.
Come on.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got-
easy choice. Put him left wing.
What-
Put him up top.
His pace is
Might as well put him up
92.
top so he can run down
What's
through
the
his-
full
rest of
run through.
His pace is 92. His shot is 80. His passing is 79. His dribbling and defending is 81, and his physical is 78.
What?
I'm picking Carlos, bro.
Who's your current left back?
I have 2 squads. So with my Prem squad, I just started it. So my Prem squad, I have what's his name, Luke Shaw at left back, and in my France squad, I have Ferland
Made
Mendy.
Neeks cough.
Well, listen, guys. Let us know in the comment who you usually pick. Schmeichel,
I'm picking Carlos.
Carlos, or Gary Lineker. His
I
other
want
option
Lineker,
up front-
man.
he's
I'll
not
put him
Gary
up
Lineker,
front.
It's Tammy Abraham. So bear that in mind.
Oh, Lee.
Oh god.
Well, this is the greatest World Cup ever.
You know what? I think it
It
is.
might
You know,
have been.
that I've watched anyway. That I've watched because obviously I didn't
goals,
watch all the
everything.
previous World Cup. Of all the World Cups that I've
don't
watched,
even like
I think this is the greatest World Cup I've seen. I think the
Yes.
only, I think the only other World Cup that I remember off the top of my head that brought the same level of excitement, joy, and just wow factor
despair.
was when Italy won the World Cup. And
06. That was the
Yeah,
was that the Jebelani
yeah.
ball. No, not the Jebelani ball. It wasn't Jebelani, but it was the ball. That ball moved all over the place.
yeah. That World Cup in 06 is for me personally is the only other World Cup that rivals it. For a number of reasons, but yeah, I think this one is up there. But I'd probably put it top. This is definitely the best World Cup for a number of reasons. One, because obviously Messi, the crowning of Messi. Also,
You fucking still going on about that?
The
Also-
channel taken down, bro.
also the number of what do you call it?
Like
The number of upsets. Like there was a number of upsets in that World Cup. I mean, a lot of them were insignificant in the sense that it didn't have a big say on the World Cup. Like, for example, Saudi Arabia beating Argentina in the first game. Yeah, cool, that was an upset, but at the end of the day, it didn't mean anything because Argentina still topped the group, which they were expected to do, and went on the same trajectory path of they should have met Brazil in the semi-final, but Brazil lost to Croatia, and it's like I think that upset and obviously Morocco doing what they did, just what made the World Cup just super interesting, proper exciting, and 100% outside of the World Cup as a whole, 100% the greatest World Cup final of all time. 100%. I don't think anyone could even argue that.
Were you there in 1966?
I was there.
I'll take your word for it then.
I
That
don't
was the
like
greatest
international
World Cup
football,
final.
and I think it definitely was
Bro,
probably the best international football, the best World Cup I've enjoyed.
let me
Man
tell you something, you know. That World Cup, I think, yeah, it's definitely the best one so far. Like, even just the amount of upsets, the games itself, like the quality of
Yes.
international football has gone up. Like, you're watching teams that you're like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be. You're looking, you tune in, yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, Argentina versus Australia. This is gonna be a walk in the park for Argentina. And you're looking at the thing, and you're like, wait, is it Argentina versus Australia, or is it Australia against Argentina? What's going on here? Like, you're just seeing like teams that you thought were mid from places that I will never go to, playing good
Otamendi,
football.
bruv.
You
Otamendi.
get me?
No, I
And
think
then
you got that one
failure.
backwards
you're
now.
seeing teams.
I think you got that one backwards.
You're seeing teams that are supposed to be good, like the Belgium, the golden era, them and there, you know, the
They've been
Spains
screaming
where
that
they
for
have
time.
where they have players that are playing at the top level of European football, and they can't even do simple teams. Like, they can't do it. They're not doing it at the World Cup. This is the greatest international stage, and they're bottling it. You get me? Germany bottling it with their star players. Like, so it was great to watch, like, overall. So even the final, I was watching the final. I went underground for 30 minutes. Yeah, it was 2-2. I come back 3-3. I'm like, what's going on? Could not believe it. It's amazing. So I'll never forget this World Cup. I'll tell my kids about them for sure.
Oh, is that an announcement?
For sure.
Breaking that has some kids. Send your congratulations.
I mean, kid, not
Oh,
kids.
so
Kid.
yeah.
When he comes.
For me, listen, it's one of those ones where, much like Messi, I can't debate if someone says the greatest World Cup of all time. I think it might be. It might be. The only one for me, and I don't want to compare. I'm not saying I don't want to compare, but the only one that I would argue was as good was 1998. Even though, well, I mean, both of them, neither of them ended in the way that I wanted it to, in terms of Brazil losing in 98 and Messi winning in 2002. But obviously, there's an element of nostalgia there for me, and it's because that was
what? You mean 2022?
You want what in 2002?
I was like, wait, what?
2022. There's an element of nostalgia because 1998 was my first World Cup, and I think for anyone who likes international football, your first World Cup holds its own memories. Your first anything in general should hold its own memories as your first. And there was a lot of memories for me. Jamaica obviously qualified for that World Cup. Nigeria had a very good team. Brazil were peaking with R9. There were some great goals in that World Cup. Dennis Bergkamp, one being a standout. We brought the ball down out the sky, turned up and twisted in and outside the foot. Davor Suka was the top goal scorer as Croatia finished third in their first World Cup. And then it ended with the Ronaldo scandal gate in the final. But it was a brilliant World Cup with some very good games and great goals and iconic players that you look at now. They are players that are going to go, that have gone down in history as legends. The likes of Edgar Davids, Patrick Kluivert, for example. Lilian Thuram, the France side alone was stacked. The Netherlands side was stacked. Brazil side was stacked. Like that was top quality, and we had a final or semis that kind of it brought all of that quality all together. You had Brazil versus Netherlands in one final, and then France with the shock of Croatia in the other final. Italy got knocked out by France before that. What this one, like, we had the final of finals. Definitely was the greatest final we've ever seen in World Cup history. But the semis, I was disappointed with the semis matchup. And I'm not faulting Morocco and faulting Croatia, but the semis was drawn, and you were kind of like, Argentina and France will get to the final. And if they don't, it's a big disappointment. Whereas what you kind of want as the tournament goes on and on, and obviously how the matches turn out is how they turn out. But as each match goes on, you're expecting those games to get more and more difficult to call. So you want a Brazil-Argentina final because those teams are more closely matched. And as it turned out, Argentina won 3-0 against Croatia. And then you want a maybe France-Portugal, France-Spain, because those two teams are more closely matched. You get France-Morocco. And granted, Morocco put up a good fight, but it was 3-0 and 2-0 at the end. And Croatia and Morocco didn't really test the keeper in either one of those semi-finals. So it was a great World Cup, and it kind of, for me, dipped at the semis because of Brazil and because of Portugal or Spain going out early. But then the final kind of brought it back right to the top. So it's right up there for me, right up there with 1998. And it's probably the best because of how the final went. Because if the final had gone how it was going, in terms of Argentina was just completely dominated for about 80 minutes, 70, I was about 75 minutes until the changes were made. And it was like, France ain't even turned up. It's going to end 2-0, boring final, Argentina win. And that means you get a semis and a final that don't do real justice. But the next, 40 minutes or 10 minutes of normal time and 30 minutes of extra time, that just switched, that put the icing or the cherry on top of the icing in the cake to say, if it ain't one, it's joint one. As you can see today, I can't make a decision. It's either one or joint one. But yeah, brilliant World Cup. Well done, Qatar, with all especially when it was shrouded with all the controversy and all the doubts that were given to it at the start of the tournament, even before when it was bidded all those years ago. They put on a great tournament. All the talk about, no alcohol, the number of arrests, but there's no fans from England, that's maybe even Britain, but no fans from England were arrested, which is a massive shock in terms of how England fans usually behave. And the alcohol definitely had an element to that, with all the controversy about human rights, that you speak to anyone who was out there. Of course, I'm not dismissing the human rights elements, but you speak to anyone that was out there, they talk about a great experience they had out in Qatar. So all of that together, with all the doubts that were coming into the tournament and what they actually produced. Granted, they're not in control of the matches, but the fans, everything. And then our African team getting to the semi-final for the first time in history. Records were broken. And then, obviously crowned off with, Messi. It kind of what this World Cup did, it ended a generation. It was like, all right, out with the old. This is done now. Everything that happened pre-2002, 2022 is done. Moving on now. Messi won it, closed that debate. Mbappe came so close. The new debate, let's begin. So I think this World Cup was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. So
it's right. You've got a summary.
Finally, what we're going to look at, guys, is our fateful predictions. And I don't want anyone to judge me You know, as the
I'm judging you. I'm judging you.
as the host of the show, sometimes my mind isn't where it needs to be because obviously I'm trying to do all the like fiddling around with the little sharing of the screen and running this and running that. So sometimes I make predictions that don't really, it's not really what I believe. But I just put it forward because why not? I don't like to make excuses. I'm just explaining. Yeah, so don't take it too seriously. But it looks like the predictions aren't coming up. Oh, what a coincidence. Oh. So you just have to imagine that I got it right.
Okay. Sorry, I think a few when the predictions come up, we have to address some of the howlers.
All right,
there's a few howlers on there.
All right, we'll start with the winners. In terms of who got the most predictions right. Now, of course, there's one that might want to be debated, but what is categoric is that Ramsey got 3 out of 5 right. Argentina winning, Mbappe winning the Golden Boot, and Messi winning the Golden Ball. Now, of course, Mbappe was better than Messi in the World Cup, but that's not my decision. That's FIFA. So I just have to go along with whatever they say. If it was up to me, Brazil win the World Cup, and Mbappe wins the Golden Ball. Bianca also got 3 out of 5. Who's Bianca, you ask? I ask the same question every day. Flops of the tournament.
I said every day.
Belgium being knocked out in the group stages. Number 2 ranked team in the world, by the way, going into the World Cup. Knocked out in the group stages. A group stage that consisted of Canada, Croatia, and Morocco. And Belgium finished 3rd. Golden Boot Mbappe. Golden Ball Messi. So that's 3 out of 5 for Bianca, 3 out of 5 for Ramsey. And then Carl has a 2.5. I'll give him a 2.5. He had Argentina winning it and Messi winning the Golden Ball. And he had Spain as flops. Now, as I remember correctly, or as I remember, when we were the original actual graphics said flop of the tournament, and it was a bit too wordy for the space that was there, so we just reduced it to flops. And Kyle's argument was they also flopped, and you're right, they did flop, but did they flop more than Belgium? That would be my question. And of course, if you say yes, then we can put that in green, and Kyle can get 3 out of 5. But if they say no, then I think Belgium are the outstanding flops of the tournament. And Spain also flopped massively by getting knocked out by Morocco in the last 16.
Wait, are we saying there's 2 flops if we say Spain?
If you say that Spain flopped as much as Belgium, then yes, we have 2 flops. Or technically, we have 3 flops because Germany.
So then that means we can have multiple flops at this point, because
have Portugal and England as well.
Okay,
but that's what.
All right, so I'll ask the same question. If you can say that England and Portugal flopped as much as Belgium, then yes, we have Belgium and Portugal.
They're all flops.
That's not what. Okay. France won as many games in 90 minutes as Argentina. Are they also the winners? No, there's one winner. There's Argentina. Messi scored a lot of goals, but was he the top goal scorer? No, he wasn't. So
Otamendi's working against him.
For me, I don't know if you're saying
own that, I think if I'm being honest, yeah. I won't even lie. I feel like Spain being one of the flops of the tournaments, for me, it's a fair shout. Like, I think Belgium are like overall just the complete outright bottle jobs of the whole thing. But
I feel new words into it. Stick with flop, please.
Yeah, flops. But I do feel like Spain were just below them. So if you give it to him, I wouldn't argue about it.
I was gonna say, to be fair to Belgium, Neeks just called out their group. And to be fair to them, they had Croatia and Morocco. That was the 3rd place playoff match.
Yeah, and
That's
what.
a tough group.
In hindsight,
But look at they were second in the world or first in the world.
second, man, Brazil.
Yeah, second. Yeah, they're second in the world. They shouldn't be flopping like that, man.
Nobody had Morocco coming out of the group, let alone semi-final.
Right? Did they even beat Canada?
They lucky. Alfonso Davies missed the penalty, innit? I don't know. For me, the only team for me, and again, it's a tricky one because Germany came into the world 11th in the world, so we didn't really expect anything. But because they have the name Germany, and they went out in the group stage, people
I
say,
wouldn't call it that much of. I wouldn't call it as much of a flop as Belgium. Definitely not. I mean, you even saw these in some of the WhatsApp group. I was predicting them to struggle to go out in the group. They were always gonna have a tough time. You know, some people like Morgan and stuff saying, easily go through. Like, don't you count your chickens way too early. Germany are not that good. They're terrible.
I mash up my whole sweepstake.
There's a reason why they're ranked 11th. They're not ranked 11th for no reason. It's not like they're not playing matches. They're playing games and not winning their games. So there's a reason why they're ranked 11th. I think they lost every single one of their Nation League group matches, and they had Denmark in their group, and Denmark beat them twice. I think they lost every single one.
I think the only one they didn't. I think they played England, and they drew.
Oh yeah, 3-3. But lost. Well, other than that, lost every other game. Like they were coming into this in some bad form. So yeah, and obviously them being in a group. I mean, if their group was like Belgium's group, for example, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia, then you could say, you know what, they should have done a lot better. But the fact that they've got Spain in their group, people would say would finish above them because Spain are better than them.
Yeah,
it's not as hard as a flop as Belgium. I can't put France as Germany as on the same level.
France were actually the world champions, and they failed to defend their title. So I think I should get a green for that.
No,
they flopped the tournament.
I agree with you.
You said they would
I
flop.
agree with you.
No. You said they would flop.
I agree with Neeks. I think he gets the green for France. I think so. You can't be a previous World Cup champion and get to the final. Your star talisman scores a hat trick and you still lose. God damn, they're flopping. Yep. It's a failure. He's a flop.
Told me that.
I give Neeks that.
That they're not even going to make
gets
it out
one.
of the group.
God, that's a sub point to the real prediction.
No, sorry. Do you know why Neeks can't have France as the flop of the tournament? Yeah,
because he can.
No, do you know why he cannot? He cannot.
He
I'll
can.
tell you why. He's saying, they're the world champions. They should be winning They should be winning the World Cup. Then you shouldn't have them as flops. They shouldn't.
They should be, but I expected them not to.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't be on the flop. They shouldn't be on the flop because they're the world champions, and you were expecting them to win. So therefore, they shouldn't be there. No, I take them off. France can't be there
because you cannot win a World Cup without Pogba. Not to bring it back to Manchester United.
Oh, so they can't win without Pogba.
Let's see a couple of howlers. So the France was a howler. Let's not get it twisted. No, you can't get to the final. Like if France, okay, let me ask a question. If France lost to Saudi Arabia in the final, can you call that a flop?
Oh, 100%.
But
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia would have to beat some teams to get there. Is it still a flop?
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't think anyone could be considered a flop just simply by getting to the World Cup final. If you're in the World Cup final, it's not a flop. You've had a fantastic tournament.
No, it's not. It's not the same. But when Portugal lost to Greece in the 2004 final, I think Portugal flopped.
Everyone said it was a flop
especially because obviously it's different. They were at home. But
yeah, you flopped the match, but you weren't a flop in the tournament.
No, you wouldn't be the flop of the tournament because obviously the teams that Greece beat before they got to you or Saudi Arabia they flopped harder because they lost in the earlier round. But you can't lose a final to Greece. You can't. You just can't. But anyway, speaking hypothetically.
Actually, to be fair, means every one of your picks are howlers, man.
Excuse me.
Massive howlers.
Neymar was injured in the first game.
Okay. So it's a howler. So it's a howler.
I should get compensated. I should get compensated.
It's a howler.
I should get
It's a
compensated.
howler. You picked
And you can get compensated. I give you France as
thank
flops.
you, Jimmy. Thank you. Kane, I thought it was golden assist, the golden pass.
Oh my days.
Again, Specsavers, that's your fault.
Did he even get that? Did he even get that?
God knows. But he did well. So
Can we pick a flop player? Because Kane.
We will. Okay, we'll get in a second.
Cock. Kane.
Brazil
No, Kane isn't the flop player of the tournament, bro.
How?
Croatia had one shot on target. And you know what they do with that shot on target? They lost to Argentina in the next round. That was a waste of a shot on target. Why would you beat Brazil to get battered in the semi-final?
So they can win the third place playoff. That's why.
I was robbed. Uruguay. I mean, I'm happy.
You weren't robbed. You just backed the team that was bad.
I was wrong. Uruguay, I was happy I got that wrong. Because if Ghana allowed Uruguay to get through after missing another penalty, oh, I tell you, that would have been banned from the pod. I don't want to see.
No, I would have resigned. I would have resigned.
Like,
I would have resigned, man.
Because I don't need that Asamoah spirit around me. Because that is some negative energy right now.
You see when we got through, yeah. Like when we got past in our second game, I was like, okay, cool. We got this third one. We have to win. Yeah, and I saw and then obviously they're playing.
Wait, who do you support in that? Ghana.
Ghana, yeah. Ghana's my team, bro.
Oh.
Unless Jamaica make it to the World Cup one day, I'll back Ghana every time they go. So
you made it the year before you were born.
Yeah, it's before my time, innit? So, what's it called? What was I gonna say now? Yeah. So obviously they were losing now. Obviously they're losing. Obviously them losing. Yeah. I'm just happy we dragged Uruguay with us. We went home together. If we lost, yeah, and Uruguay went through, I would have literally said, what was the point in beating Nigeria in the playoff to then come? We can't.
I will be flogged in the streets of Accra.
Bro, at least.
How are them man still kicking ball, bro? I don't get it.
Do you know what's mad? Yeah? I was saying this to my dad, like it's not the fact. It's not even his dad. It's the manager himself, man. He had the chance to actually sit there and deep. Because when we did the playoff against Nigeria in that year, both IU brothers, they played well, but there's a certain point in the game where they both need to come off, and the manager failed to see it. He failed to see it, and as soon as he brought on the subs, the young boys, the guys that are playing in the European teams, and they have a little naivety to them, boom, we start balling again. The manager still needs a little. That's why he's still in the system, but he's still got time. He's still got time in it. Next World Cup, I'm gonna do our thing, smack up England, and win the World Cup final.
I mean, to be fair, there's 48 teams. Jamaica will be there hopefully as well. So enough about me and my great picks. Abubakar.
I said Vinicius Jr.
Abubakar. He didn't do too bad in the end, did he? Got 3 goals, winner against Brazil, chip against Czech Republic? No, Serbia. Great goals.
Yeah, I told you. He said I only picked him because he claimed to be better than Salah. So I was like, cool, prove yourself, bro. Simple.
But Kyle, Lautaro Martinez. Listen, we're gonna talk about
that is the flop of the tournament.
Who was the flop of the tournament? Like, it doesn't mean who played the worst, but the expectations maybe coming into it by some, or considering what the team did in the end and the lack of contribution from certain players. Now, Javon, you mentioned Kane, Sammy in the chat mentioned KDB. Lautaro Martinez, he's right up there. Kyle, he's right up there.
Yeah, no, I know. For
KDB was
me,
bad.
there's about 4 or 5 players on the list that I'd have to say is in consideration for flop of the tournament. I think Lautaro Martinez is one of them. I think Kevin De Bruyne is up there. And if I'm being honest, Kevin De Bruyne will probably take my pick as the worst player of the tournament. I'd also have to say, and this is just me personally, especially because like you can't have Brazil as fans have them as favorites, the bookies have them as favorites. They come into the tournament as ranked world number 1, so everything is pointing towards Brazil, and they get knocked out in the quarterfinals to Croatia. I'm sorry, and they didn't even win all 3 of their group stages matches. They didn't win all 3. They lost the game. So they won 2 out of the 3 group stages matches. Won their round 16, lost in the quarterfinal. There has to be a player in there that underperformed because what went wrong for Brazil. And for me, it can't be Neymar because obviously he missed a large portion of it due to injury. And obviously when he did play, he was performing. But I think there was massive expectation and hype on Vinicius Jr., considering how he's been playing over the last 2 years for Real Madrid. And I think he failed to deliver. I truly do. I think he has to be considered.
So I think he played well in every game other than the actual quarterfinal. That's the thing. I think he obviously didn't play the third game of the group because they already qualified, but he played well in the first 2 games for me, and he played very well in the last 16. But obviously the game, it's not a game where you need him all at all points. But the game where they went out, he was very bad. I think it was a bad managerial decision to actually take him off as early as he did, because 60 minutes, as we saw in the final, like if I'm not saying he is their best player, but if we're talking about winning a game, the game was 0-0 at the time. You need a goal. You don't take off your top 2 players when it's not like he was exponentially worse than everyone else. He was worse in comparison to his own level and his expectation. So taking him off after 60 minutes for me was a bad decision, and meant that he didn't turn up where he when he should have. But for me, in terms of who was Brazil's worst player, that like I'm not going to use any subs, that kind of, obviously Fred didn't do well when he came on, but Rafinha was awful. Rafinha
he
was horrible.
Awful.
Like if you look at the stats, I think it was going into that Croatia game, he had the most shots and most chances created of any player in the tournament. 0 goals, 0 assists. And Brazil weren't missing sitters. So the chances that he was creating weren't these like great chances that the strikers were missing. It was just probably passes that someone shot in the end. But he had so many shots and he did nothing with it. So if I have to put it down to one player, which I'm not saying it, but if there's one standout player, I'm giving it more Rafinha before I do.
No, I hear you, but where I'm going with it is more so because I agree, Rafinha was worse than Vinicius Jr. in the tournament, but in terms of flops, you have to look at it as how we pick the teams and how we're rating on the teams as well. Like, did Spain flop as hard as Belgium, for example, even though Belgium went out in the group and Spain went out in the round of 16? You're weighing up. You're looking at how good the team is or how good the player is, and the expectation. The expectation on Rafinha is nowhere near the same as Vinicius. Yes, he's in a team where the team expectation is high, but as an individual, it's just like Paqueta. He could have. I mean, I'm not saying he did have a bad tournament, but let's say he did have a bad tournament, right? The expectation isn't tremendously high on Paqueta. They're not looking at him. When you're looking at Brazil, people were looking at their striker Richarlison, they're looking at Neymar, and they're looking at Vinicius Jr. to get them the goals and win the games, to win them the World Cup. People are not looking at Rafinha and say, okay, Rafinha, go out and do your thing and win us this World Cup. Yeah. So the expectation on him isn't as high as Vinicius. And I just feel like for the expectation on Vinicius Jr., someone that just won the Champions League, just won La Liga, been playing out of his skin alongside Benzema. I feel like the expectation of him was massive coming to this tournament, and I think it's like he failed to deliver.
I heard that. A couple of players, obviously not throughout the tournament, but the final, they really let it down, man. Griezmann, Giroud, Dembele. I don't know what happened.
Wait, what did you say?
In the final.
Oh.
Yeah, so not tournament, not the tournament, the final. Giroud, Griezmann, and Dembele. Turn out to the biggest games of your lives. Now, granted, Griezmann and Giroud have won it already. I think Dembele might have won it already, but he obviously didn't play. Definitely didn't play. But how do you turn up? And as you know, 3 of the more senior players in the team, I think Rabiot wasn't good either, but he came off a concussion in the end. And they stunk it. They stunk.
They weren't given much time.
Kyle, they came
off after about 30 minutes. They came off after
I'm sorry,
about 30
that 80 minutes. That 80 minutes was the worst I've ever seen from France overall. Since this, that was the worst thing. Listen, Otamendi literally gave them a lifeline. That Otamendi don't mess up like that, and I think the game ends 2-0. Like, it was awful. 80 minutes, nothing happened.
Was shot on target.
Not shot. It was horrible.
Who was the 2 players that came off for 30 minutes? It was Giroud and Dembele, right?
Giroud and Dembele.
Yeah.
They weren't given much time, Neeks.
Oh my lord!
Dembele was having a stinker.
Okay.
He didn't come off.
Kunde was getting cooked.
He wasn't good since the last 16 anyway. Like he was treading water. He was only there because the only other option was Kingsley Coman. And Kingsley Coman did his bit when he came on.
But put it like this. He made 2 subs on the half an hour mark. He took off Giroud and he took off Dembele, right?
Yeah.
Nothing got better for France. So how much was it that? No, it didn't, because we were like that up until 80 minutes. So nothing changed for them. As a matter of fact, it was still 1-0. It was still 1-0 when they came off. It was still 1-0 when they came off. And then it was 1-0. It was 1-0 when they came off. It was 1-0 because
no, I think it might be 2. No, it was 2.
It was 2. They came off just before the half was done.
Yeah, they came off just before the half was done. Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, it was the shittest France display I have ever seen, and nothing that no change. Any change he made, there was no change. It was the same. It was the same. It was until the 80th minute. Nothing changed.
It wasn't as poor, but there was still a lack of anything. But they weren't as shambolic. Like Thuram they were getting around. They were actually putting in challenges. Whereas in the first half,
they
were just existing. They were just.
But Di Maria don't even play on the left. What Kunde get? Kunde was getting cooked. Who was on? Was it Kunde on the left?
Yeah, Kunde.
Oh my lord!
Thuram did a bit when he came on, and then they made the
Tchouameni.
70
oh my
minutes
lord!
When Kingsley Coman came on, that was what really sparked the game. It was really kind of like, all right, they actually might be able to get a goal back. But yeah, those 3, I'll just say they just really disappointed because that was a final. You can't have 3 players. Remember, it was all about France's front 4. Only one of them showed up. Only one of them turned up. That's embarrassing.
Would we say that Argentina was that good that it just nullified them, or would just France
Argentina were very good in the first, half hour or so, but that's not an excuse to have 0 shots on target. I don't care how good you are. You can't. I don't know how good Argentina were. France are not 0 shots in 80 minutes on target. Bad. They should never be that bad. No team.
I wish this one turned up for England, man. Shit.
So yeah.
I said England. You're talking back in the wrong team, bro. But anyways, go on.
Dark horses. So obviously, I had Uruguay. There was 2 Uruguays. Me and Bianca. Kyle and Nat had Denmark. Ramsey had Germany. Tried to sneak that one in there. That one failed dramatically. But yeah, let me pick the best team. Ramsey thought, let me pick the best team who can fall into the dark horses category, and they got the worst result out of all of them.
No, Denmark's was worse, bro. They had a stinker, 1 point in the whole tournament. That's mad. For the team that they have.
How good are they really?
Yeah, but you expect better for
Who
the
came out of that
squad
group?
that they have.
Who came out? It was
France.
Australia, innit? Australia, yeah. France, Australia.
Australia.
And
Uh,
Jay said, nope. No dark horses. You were wrong, bro. Wrong.
I was wrong. The only dark horse there was
What? Two?
Morocco. No,
Oh,
Morocco only.
Morocco were the dark horse of the tournament. I agree, they were. Because you was
That's
gonna
it.
say there's
I
only one.
can't put Croatia because
Was
Croatia's
the dark
been
horse.
here before the cup before and the cup before. They've been here. They've been about.
But everyone thought this is the end. Everyone thought they can't go one more tournament. They're too old. And they went.
No, you're
and-
right,
oh,
but they're not the dark horse. They've been here. They've
I'm
done
not
it
saying-
too
I'm
many
not saying they
times.
are the
They've
dark
done it
horse.
too many times. Morocco
are the
is
dark
the
horse.
only dark horse.
No, but if Morocco didn't get to the semis,
No, then there would have been no
Croatia
dark
would be the
horses.
dark
I would have
horse.
won.
They would be.
I would have won. I would have won. I would have gotten a green. I would have gotten a green.
No way.
And you know what? If Morocco wasn't there, I would be arguing that nope for this whole entire podcast because Croatia have been there. They've been here this time. They've been there the cup before. They've been in the cup before. The pattern is there. That's not a pattern of a dark horse.
So how
There's
have
not
you-
a pattern of
all
a
right, so
dark
how have you
horse.
got- How have you got England as flops? Because England have always failed, yet you predicted when they flop of the tournament. So
Yes,
whatever they were
because
gonna-
they're always flopping, so they're flops.
No. Because at what point does them always doing it no longer become a failure? It's now the norm.
It is a failure. It's always fail until they do better. They're failures.
All right, so until Croatia win it, they can always be considered a dark horse.
But they're not though. But did they win something though? What did they win?
Nothing. Zilch. Nada. Nil.
So they've never won any. Wait, when was? Wait, hold on. What did Modric just won best player?
He won. Yeah, best player, 2018.
Oh yeah, he just won best. So they didn't win it. It was just Modric. I don't know. They've been there. They've been always there. So, for me, like I said, the only reason why, like I said, the only reason
was 98. They finished third. I think there was one World Cup in between they didn't qualify for. Last World Cup came second, and then this World Cup they came third. But
I'm sorry,
not
that's not a dark horse. That's not a dark horse.
Are they favorites now?
I wouldn't say they're favorites, but that's not a dark horse. I'm sorry.
But surely you judge them on the team that they
A dark
are,
horse is like a Morocco or Australia or New Zealand or Jamaica, not Croatia. Not Croatia. I can't give that one.
Croatia aren't dark horses.
They're not.
Who had them getting past the quarters? Who even had them getting to the quarters? Wait, who even had them getting to the quarters?
But they're not a dark horse, bro.
Me, because I said nope.
No. You said no.
Because they're not a dark horse.
No, you're expecting because what I said to you when you say no, are you saying that the top eight, the top 8 favorites are all gonna be in the last 8? You said yep. Croatia weren't in the top 8 favorites. Croatia were like 20th in the world.
Correct. That's because you're making this up as you go along. Croatia are not dark horses, man. I'm sorry.
They're not.
All right. So next World Cup, I'm expecting you lot to predict them to win it because they've been there.
I'm not gonna predict them to win it, but they're not dark horses.
I expect you them, but it might be because the team might even be worse than it is now. Modric will be gone.
They're basically like Netherlands or Belgium. What the heck was that?
No,
was that
me? In the world. Anyway, all right. But you got that wrong anyway. Whichever way you want to dress it up.
No. I accept that. I accept that because Morocco was there. If Morocco did not make it, we would. I promise you, I will not let this podcast end. I will fight my ground.
Oh, Junior, put a sock in it, mate. Put a sock in it. So we got obviously Morocco with the dark horses. The finish, brilliant. Finish 4th overall. England won. It came home.
What came home?
England won the Fair Play Award. Only got 1 yellow card in the tournament. And I think that's and 0 arrests. So I think that's something to be proud of. And Gareth
So
Southgate.
does that mean they automatically qualify for the next World Cup? Like,
It
what
means
does that
Gareth
mean? What does that
Southgate
do for
automatically
them?
qualifies to be the manager going forward. And I know Javert will be delighted with that. And we'll end on that actually. Obviously, a few managers been sacked. Tite, Brazil, gone. Fernando Santos from Portugal, gone.
Enrique.
Quite a lot
Luis
of people gone,
Enrique,
to be fair.
gone. Hansi Flick is staying with Germany. Didier Deschamps, we're not sure. They talk about potentially Zidane becoming the next France manager, but we'll see what happens with that. I think Didier Deschamps going to want to take France to the next Euros. He hasn't won it. They got to the final 2016, lost in the quarters in the last one. They've won the Nations League. He's won the World Cup. If he can win the Euros, he'll complete the set as both manager and player. So I think he'd want to take them to the next. And they'll probably be favourites for the next Euros as it stands anyway, France. I think they have a great chance to do that, even though Benzema has now retired. So it'll be interesting who they go a striker. Would Giroud still be there in 18 months? Potentially.
It'll be Mbappe, no?
No, but I just mean, okay, one line. Who's going to be the pick of the forwards? Obviously, if Giroud and Benzema are no longer there. Does Nkunku come in maybe? Or
Probably,
maybe
yeah.
some of the youngsters that we saw that came on today. Sorry, in this tournament. But Gareth Southgate. So the talk was, well, who's going to wait until January to make a decision, the new year to make a decision. But the report came out a day or so ago that he is going to take England into Euro 2026. Is that the right decision, Jay? I'm here to tell you. We don't
Huh?
Nothing going on.
If nothing comes from this Euros, he's got to go. He's got to. He's living on borrowed time here. It's gone past borrowed time. I don't know what.
If it was up to you, would you have got rid of him 100% after this tournament?
If it was up to me, he would have been gone from the Euros final.
No,
so he wouldn't have even been here at this tournament.
I get it, but
Really?
let's say you got the job. You got the job at the beginning of the tournament. You're now the England FA head. Based on what happened at this tournament, and guess what's happened before, but at the end of
wait, when did I get the job?
You got the job before the France game.
Oh, flip sake,
man.
man.
You would have got rid of it before You got the job after the France, just before the France game kicked off. Literally, it was like.
Well, I wouldn't sack him just before this France game if I just got the job.
So you got the job.
I will leave it.
And then they lost to France. What's next? What do you do?
If I'm just gonna go by the France game, I like I said, borrowed time. I will give it to him.
Everything, but you only have the power once that France game finished. You can go, but you can judge it on whatever you want. But you only have the power after the.
So okay, well if it's me as the hold on, yes, I will bloody well say him straight away, because if I'm now the FA of English or whoever picks England managers, I'm gonna say, you know what, this English manager thing ain't working, and it's time to get someone foreign in. Tuchel's available. Mourinho could be potentially available. There are managers out there that are available that I think could do a better job than him. Now, like I said, personally,
maybe you'll sack Potter at Chelsea. Would you want Potter?
No, I would not bring Potter in. Like I said, just from this tournament alone, I will give Southgate the Euros, and that's it. After that, he needs to go. Whoever wins it, he needs to go. That's it. It's done. It's done.
Even if he wins it, go anyway.
If he wins it, I think he should go out gracefully. I don't know where he goes from there. Just go out gracefully, because if he wins the Euros, it only because I don't know, boy. Like if he wins the Euros, then that is fantastic.
Obviously, I think he should have gone at the end of the World Cup. For me, I'll say that regardless of, because for me, England were never going to win it, so it was easy to say. But it was one of those ones where you've taken them to 2 World Cups, a Euros, a Nations League, or 2 Nation League tournaments. If you won it at the end of the World Cup, you might as well just go, because it ain't going to get any.
I think maybe that's why he's staying.
And the English press they're not going to, like, if you win the World Cup and then get knocked out in the last 16 of the Euros or quarterfinals, this get at you. They're going to say that World Cup win was lucky. So if you're Southgate, you win it, go out on a high, greatest English manager of all time, blah, blah, blah. If you don't win it, well, then and you haven't won anything, as good as you've been, move on. Time for the English FA to move on and say, all right, let's try something else. Not saying you failed, but let's try something else because we want to win the trophy. If he wins the Euros, however, I see no reason why he should go. Because if I'm him, I'm like, the World Cup's in 2 years. I'm coming for that because the Euros ain't the World Cup. It's not the end of the journey.
You're right.
It's not
No, you're right. You're right. And the thing is, this tournament, this tournament, I don't know, man. This guy is like Marmite, man. I give him what I will give to him what he has done for England. He has changed it up. It looks better. It feels better. It is decent to watch. But the problem I have is these England players, as bad as everyone says they're so bad, they're so rubbish. They are actually they are good. They are good enough to be going in the finals. That France game, normally when England play in these big games, they're gone. Nowhere to be seen. England were attacking and going. I ain't never seen that. Normally they fold. Big games fold. And they went at it and they went at it. And that is the reason why I will say it's okay for Southgate to carry on to the Euros because there is a change. And I saw that.
Yeah. No,
I would say the players.
It's that cutting edge. And I say it's cutting edge both on the players' part, but also as a manager. And I give an example. In the final, now it wasn't to the same extreme, but in the final, Didier Deschamps saw something was going wrong, and within 40 minutes he changed it. He should have done that. Southgate doesn't do that. Whether England are playing well or playing bad, he doesn't allow his subs, who you have 5 of, to impact the game. He kind of just says, it's like if you're losing
too late.
Yeah, if he's losing, it's like, you know what? Maybe not losing, but especially if he's drawing or winning. Okay. If he's drawing or he's losing by a small margin, it'll be like, I trust the players that I put out there to do the job because they got me this far. Yeah. But players are human. Players can have an off. It's game. Like so you need to use you need to move. You have it for a reason. Use it. And England's base is so strong that sometimes you don't even know what the team is strong. So you can take out one player and bring in the next, and the person that you brought in could arguably, a lot of people's eyes, be actually better than the person you took off. I think that's what he misses.
No, you're right, but it's just like, it's like it's not like when you're playing FM and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it safe. I don't want to change anyone. You know when you're just attacking, and it looks good, so you feel like you're on top. You don't need to make changes. Yeah, and that's what it is. I think that's what he felt against France because Rashford should have been on from a long time ago. At least like it's just got to, and it's just like. I think the problem, where the problem lies is ultimately the players end up letting. I'm going to start looking at the players now. They start to let them down, and the Spurs bottle shines through and through. Harry Kane, you do not miss that penalty. You don't miss. You just don't miss it. You don't miss it. You can't miss it. That's a golden opportunity.
You can't miss that.
You don't miss that. And you know what? If it was saved, then I'd be like, golly, God. But the man skied it. That is bottle. That is bottle because he skied it. It wasn't even on target.
The ball is pictured passing Pluto and heading towards the edge of the solar system right as you speak right now.
I'm sorry. I now all this Kane is one of the greatest. He's the. He's this, he's that. I have to start questioning this now. When has he carried Spurs? When was that shining moment that Kane's like, you know what? Spurs need this game they need something. Let's sit down and actually talk about, maybe on a different podcast, what has Kane done? Where has Kane been in the big Tottenham moments? Where was he?
Well,
Granted, he was injured against in the Champions League.
well, this is it,
Lucas
and
Moura has more clutch moments than Kane does for Spurs.
he does, and I think this is where it really boils down to. It's all in the end, it's all about winning. You can look as good as you want, you can play as good as you want, you can have as much passion as you want, but it's all about winning. And managers and players are all judged on what they win in the end.
All this
And
man
Argentina,
is a bunch of goals,
Argentina did win. Argentina came up trump for the first time
Argentina did
in
win.
since '96. Messi, for the first time in his career, led his team to the promised land, over the line, beyond the line, and put his name in a place where we may never, in our lifetime, we may never see another player even dare put his name. Congratulations to Messi. Congratulations to Argentina. Thank you everyone for joining us with our Neeks Sports podcast and throughout the World Cup. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you very, very soon.